All right, I want to take you right back to our timeline, the setup, the poison, the twist, the plot thickens, the alibi. Okay, in spring of 2016, we know General Flynn was targeted by Comey and the FBI all the way from the beginning. This is months before the call with the Russian ambassador. Let me say that again. A 30-year combat veteran, an Army general, the former director of the DIA, was now the subject of a counterintelligence investigation simply for being a member of Donald Trump's campaign. And if they can do this to this man, they will do it to all of us. The FBI's justification for opening the investigation was just released last week. These are the documents. I want you to see them. These were the reasons. He was a Trump advisor. He has ties to various state-affiliated entities for the Russian Federation, and he traveled to Russia in 2015. Now, we know that the only relevant point to them was the first one. He was a member of the Trump team. Points 2 and 3 were just there, like the leaks from Power, Rice, and Rhodes, to give an appearance of guilt. Yes, Flynn traveled to Russia, and yes, he had ties to various state-affiliated entities in Russia. But what is the FBI referring to? This one. Mike Flynn attended a Russia Today gala in Moscow, where he was paid a good amount of money to give a speech there. I mean, look at that picture. Look at the optics. It's horrible. It gave them everything they needed to begin destroying Flynn's reputation. Flynn received over $40,000 for his speech in Moscow in 2015. But is that unusual? Maybe. Former U.S. government officials would never accept $45,000 to speak at a Kremlin-affiliated function. I mean, look at Bill Clinton. It took the Russians $500,000 to bribe him to come over to speak in Russia for a Russia investment bank with links to the Kremlin. And that was the same year Flynn was giving his speech in Moscow. Sounds to me like Flynn got hosed. But there's also one thing we can absolutely guarantee. The FBI never opened a counterintelligence investigation into Bill Clinton for doing exactly the same thing that Flynn did. And I wonder why. Well, one was advising Donald Trump and the other was married to Hillary Clinton. So it makes sense. General Flynn was the perfect scapegoat. They had all the optics covered via the 2015 Moscow event, and now all they needed was something that really drove it home. And that brings us to the mysterious leak of Flynn's call to the Russian ambassador. Now, I want you to look at this. This is recently declassified document from the FBI. Again, all of these documents are available at glennbeck.com. Check out the date, January 4th, 2017. This was sent just a few days after Flynn's call with the Russian ambassador. The document you're looking at is the closing communication regarding Mike Flynn. I urge you to really read this document. It is astounding. The FBI investigators found nothing wrong with General Flynn, nothing. They declared that he was, quote, no longer a viable candidate in the overall Russia investigation. You have to read it for yourself because it's way beyond that. In other words, the FBI cleared him of any wrongdoing. Now, this is where it should have ended, but instead, the twist on January 4th is the biggest surprise of all. The FBI clears him. The Justice Department says we're closing the case. Now, I told you to take note of the date, January 4th, because one day later is the infamous office meeting with Obama's cabinet members, all of these guys. I want to go back to Sally Yates' testimony that was just released, which describes what went down during that meeting. Yates was actually surprised. She describes how the majority of the participants were dismissed, but Obama told Comey herself to stay behind. Obama began immediately talking about Mike Flynn. The meeting ended with talk of prosecuting Flynn under the Logan Act. Now, let's just remember, the Susan Rice alibi is, he said, we're not pressuring anybody to do anything. The FBI said the day before, we're closing the investigation. Here he's saying, you're not going to close. In fact, do we have anything we can do? The FBI says he's innocent. Agents involved said he shouldn't even be part of an overall investigation, but Barack Obama himself asked the heads of both the FBI and the DOJ to make it an issue again. If you need a smoking gun for what Obama knew and what he did wrong, it's right there. That's Obamagate. He knew everything, and he was now giving veiled orders on how to proceed next. The Logan Act is this obscure law from the 1700s that says no private citizen can speak for the U.S. government. And this is a time before there were telephones. And some random schmo could walk in, into another country's capital and go, I got my white wig and I'm representing the U.S. government. It's ridiculous in this day and age, but it's also unconstitutional. There's a reason no one has ever been prosecuted under the Logan Act. John Kerry has secretly been trying to run a shadow foreign policy with Rand for years, and he's not prosecuted under the Logan Act. That's how flimsy this is. Now, on January 23rd, to make it worse, January 23rd, here they're saying, no, don't dismiss this, get him. January 23rd, after the alibi, the setup. What do? The Washington Post reports that Flynn was all but exonerated, but the very next day, the FBI has their famous trap, their interrogation of General Flynn. His lawyers weren't there. He was safe. Everybody said he's safe. He didn't know that they had conspired to trap him. In recently handwritten notes from the FBI investigators and interrogators that day, you see right here, they reveal the goals: to get him to lie or to get him fired and to use the Logan Act. This FBI agent was asking, should we be doing this? The exact same strategy discussed in this meeting. That FBI interrogator on this day said, I don't know if we should be doing this. This was the line that ruined Mike Flynn's life. Tell me if you think it's justifiable. When you see the report of what he said, the report in the interviewing FBI agents filed regarding the conversation with Flynn, when asked if Flynn told the Russian ambassador not to escalate a situation after Obama imposed deep sanctions on them, his response was, not really, I don't really remember. I don't think it was, don't do anything. Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but we don't have a transcript of that. That's it. That's supposedly their Logan Act smoking gun. Hey, don't escalate things. We've got a new guy coming in. As is always the case with that ridiculous law, it's never enforced. So they nailed him with lying to the FBI, even though it has no merit. Lying to the FBI in itself is not a crime. If an FBI agent says, hey, buddy, you like all your wife's cooking? And you're like, oh, I love all of it. Yeah. They can't throw you in jail because you detest her meatloaf. It's not material to anything. As I just showed you, questioning Flynn was not material to the case. They cleared him, but they wanted to make his statement material by all means, charge him under the Logan Act. But they never even did that. All of this is why the DOJ dropped the case, and we'll get into the court system, what happened today, probably on tomorrow's radio program. But Obamagate is real, and he's getting nervous. That's why they're doubling down on this specific case. There was a leaked phone call, which you're going to recognize this one from our map on Ukraine. There was a leaked phone call that just appeared on Yahoo News, written by Michael Isikoff. The same Isikoff that helped them spread the bogus Steele dossier. I'll give them one thing. They got balls of steel, man, and they are consistent. In the call, Obama specifically mentions the Mike Flynn case and how that's why he's supporting Joe Biden. Quote, and the fact that there is no precedent for anyone confined for someone who's been charged with perjury getting off scot-free, that's the kind of stuff where you begin to get worried that the basic, not just institutional norms, but our basic understanding of the rule of law is at risk. Damn right, Obama. It sure the hell is. Thank God we have somebody actually revealing facts. I'd like to know why it took so long. Obama knows the FBI didn't have a case. He knows the information drudged up by foreign allies and then disseminated by CIA director was completely bogus. He knows that his own cabinet was engaged in a giant political assassination. What else does Obama know? He knew everything. Everything Senator Church feared back in 1975 came true under the Obama administration. The arrogant moves against Donald Trump finally exposed all the termites that are infesting our system. So I guess we can say thank you to Obama for that. But I'm telling you, if you don't stand up and demand people go to jail, our republic will not survive.